Hi, I wanted to pop on and answer a question that I get sometimes from people in terms of how do you separate dyes. First of all, sometimes you get dyes and they come like this one did that I bought from the store from Photoplay with the etched dyes that match the Photoplay Holiday Sentiment set. And they come so they're all attached like this and they have these little wire things like that. Or you can get them where they're nested like these ones. Some of these ones I have taken apart. These ones you can see they're still together and they all came like this. So people wonder, how can you get them apart? Some people struggle with getting them apart. So I use these metal die snippers. That's what they're for, that we have in the store. These retail here for $9.49 at the store. We carry them in and they're designed to cut apart dies. And they help you get rid of any of the metal tabs. So for these ones, these are easy, so you just kind of go in. So if you notice on the snippers, they have kind of a flat side here against, because they're angled. So if you hold the flat against the edge, hopefully it's focusing, where you want it to come apart, where you were trying to take apart, they will just snip apart. So you line your die, you put your snippers in there, try to get as close to the edge of the die as you can. Squeeze, and there you go. Now for any little bits that are left, like here you can see is a bit. Now different people do it. Some people do it into a rag because these things can go flying. I try to just bend them where I can and then hold it in here because you really don't want that metal piece to go flying. Some people recommend that you wear goggles or some sort of eye protection because these little metal pieces will go flying. I tend to just do it. I have a deep garbage can. There's a very tall metal garbage can, and I try to kind of go down in it normally when I'm doing it so that I can, not have to worry about the tabs flying. But again, you just go close. And there, see how that die just flew? That's what the whole tab will do. And these small little pieces can be quite sharp if you're not doing it. Now, if you leave a tiny little nub like here, sometimes you don't always get that close or it's not in, you can try bending it back and forth like that to get it smaller. And if you really want it smooth, smooth, smooth on the edge, some of them, whereas this one sees a little, you can file it if you want. I don't tend to file them that much. But you can take, let me see if I have one of my, you can just take anything like this or whatever. It's a bit of sandpaper, file, and it will smooth it out so that it's not sharp at all. I don't find they've ever bothered me or gotten in my way. And most of the time I can get it cut close enough to do it. Yeah, so that's all you do with those ones. It's very easy. I find just trying to get it, so that it's lined up as close as you can too, then you don't really end up with much bumps. I'm trying to kind of do it here. Normally I'm not standing up trying to get it into a camera frame so you can see well, so it's a little bit easier, but normally you can get really close to it. And there you go, just like that, and they come apart. It's really easy. There's a longer tab. Again, you can just get up close, go like that, and it comes right off. There's a little piece. Just make sure you throw it away. You do not want to step on that little piece of metal and have a little metal sliver in you, nor do you want it flying into your eye or anything. So that's how you do ones like this. The ones that are on the inside are a little bit trickier. Some come very tightly together, like these ones, these nesting ones, and some companies make them more. They are a little bit trickier, but you can kind of get your die in there like you see I did on this side. So I'll show you on this side. You just kind of get it in there. Luckily these are very kind of narrow, fine tipped, so they can get into quite tight places. You don't have to get it all the way down at the back. You can just use the tip and squeeze. And there you go. And see how close I got it to the edge with just using the tip. So it's perfect. And then you just go again and snip off the edges. So that's how you do it. I love these. It's a lot easier. I mean, you can, you can try to kind of bend these and wiggle these, but it's much harder to break these ones, especially when you get a whole bunch of them and they're all together. There's not a lot of wiggle room. You can kind of bend the die and do this. This is much easier. These ones, you can use the old wiggle and they work better. But you still left with these things you've got to deal with. And sometimes when they're smaller, like this, when they're short, or there's like short little ones in between here, using your hand to bend it off isn't easy. When it's long like this, you can kind of bend it back and forth, but it still leaves a little nub and it takes longer. The snippers are just a really handy, inexpensive tool to have. They're great. Yeah, and I think they're well worth the investment. So anyone who is wondering about how to get their dies apart, or who struggles with getting their dies apart, this is the way to go. And like I said, they're in stock. So come on in and check them out. They're hanging on the tool shelf. This is what they look like. Bye.